This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that love the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your more off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com. Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition of the State of the Saints podcast, we're going to be talking about tight end Jared Cook. And I got to be honest with you, Who Dat Nation, this is an impromptu show. This was not the topic that I was going to talk about on this edition of the State of the Saints podcast until I went on social media and I seen a lot of members of the Who Dat Nation reading tight end Jared Cook, the riot act. And some of you probably are looking around like, man, what in the world is going on? What did he say? I'm going to pull that up in just a few minutes, but thank you all so much for being here. If you enjoy the State of the Saints podcast, go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button, let everybody know that you enjoy the show. My wife is in the background watching on one of our favorite shows, How to Get Away with Murder. So if y'all hear Viola Davis in the background, that's my wife back there. Okay, so just want to go ahead and get that out of the way. But but anyway, Jared Cook comments, man. Jared Cook comments. Apparently, Jared Cook talked to the media for the Los Angeles Chargers, his brand new team, on today. And if you're listening to this, I'm doing this on a Tuesday night, and Jared Cook made some comments. Now, I wasn't able to get the actual sound bite, but I did get an opportunity to get a little bit of what he said, and I'm going to pull it up here in the article. As you can see, it says Cook added to the Chargers offensive hype Tuesday when he said this offense probably has more talent than his team with the Saints. And this is his quote. It says, quote, "Absolutely," Cook said, after being asked if the offensive roster compares favorably to New Orleans. When you have a high-powered offense and guys with the talent to make your offense high-powered, I think there are a lot of questions in the air about how well we will be. There are always going to be questions, but seeing the talent that we have at receiver is just as good. We probably got better talent here than we had in New Orleans. Just seeing those guys, Mike Williams and keep talking about Keenan Allen, lining up all across the field in different formations, splitting us out in different packages, I definitely think that this offense has what it takes to become a high-powered, prolific offense in the NFL. And that is a comment. So he ticked a lot of members of the Who Dat Nation off, man. I mean, with these comments, him saying that the offense that he's at right now is better than that of the New Orleans Saints, and a lot of members of the Who Dat Nation are upset with Jared Cook, of course, because a lot of people feel like he was the main reason why the Saints lost that game in the divisional round against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Some people said that he fumbled the football, and that's the reason why the Saints lost. I mean, could say that had something to do with the momentum. Me personally, man, look, I'm not going to just change my stance about a guy just because he said something like this. I like Jared Cook. I thought that he brought something to the table at the tight end position for the New Orleans Saints. I feel like after that San Francisco 49ers game when he had that concussion, I feel like that kind of messed with his psyche. Then earlier in the season, I think he had another concussion, and I think that kind of affected him, in the way that he would go out there and try to be as aggressive as he was. But I'm not going to knock him and say that he was a terrible tight end and he was one of the worst tight ends the Saints ever had just because I don't like what he said. But me personally, look, I said what I had to say. I know there's a lot of members of the Who Dat Nation were upset. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up the phone lines. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up the phone lines. I'm going to get your take. I'm going to allow you to sound off on Jared Cook. What do you think about Jared Cook's comments? Feel free to say anything you have to say. The only thing that I ask is, keep the profanity, out of your statement. I don't want any profanity or anything like that. If you curse, you're using profanity, I'm gonna have to cut you off. That's the only thing I ask. You can say whatever you feel about Jared Cook, but as long as we keep it clean, all right? I just want to make sure that we do that. But before I do go to the phone lines and I put the link up, I'm going to go ahead and read some comments here. Casual, I'll start with you. Says a lot of Saints fans on Twitter have been picking him apart. A lot of ticked off fans. Yeah, that's the understatement of the night. John says, "What up, TJ? When will Big Q be on your show? Did I miss it? Big Q will be on the show on tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, Big Q will be the special guest on the State of the Saints podcast. Big Q will be here. So yeah, he'll be on here tomorrow night. Shouts out to Big Q. I have to. I seen his response, but I haven't responded to him yet. But it's official. He'll be on here tomorrow night. Bro, we lost because the Saints as a whole failed to live up to the expectations in the biggest of moments. I agree with that. I agree. I don't think that one fumble just cost the game. You can say it was a momentum shift, but that wasn't the reason why the Saints lost the game. But I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the comments right here. Feel free to chime in, sound off, keep the profanity out of your statements, please. Once again, I love everybody here, but if I see you start cursing and going off, I'm going to have to cut you short, man. This is a family-friendly show, and I feel like we as grown folk, we know how to expound on different things without having to use a lot of profanities. I'll let a few go, but if you just out here letting them loose, I can't. I have to cut you off, all right? But just want to make that very, very clear. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the phone lines. We got Aaron from the Black and Gold Breakdown podcast that's here. Aaron, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Yo, TJ, what's going on with you, my dude? You watching the game?
Which game? We talking about basketball?
Yeah, Brooklyn and Milwaukee.
No, man. Actually, I was keeping up with it on ESPN, man. Just before I came on, I was putting Paxton to sleep, so I wasn't able to watch the game. So I have been keeping up with it, and I know that James Harden, I think he played 22 minutes. He didn't have no points. So what's going on with that now? Before you get started.
Well, Milwaukee is pulling in Atlanta, and they're choking a 12-point. They're choking a 12-point lead. Now they're only down by 2.
Wow.
Kevin going off. James Harden's racking up the assists.
Wow.
Even though he's not scoring a lot of points. And Jeff Green is just doing his thing with his versatility. So Brooklyn's in this thing with like less than 11 minutes to go in the final quarter.
Yeah, I mean, last time I checked, man, I thought when I was looking, I know they had maybe a 12-point lead or something like that, and I know James Harden didn't have any points. And but like I said, I was putting Paxton to sleep. I wasn't able to check it out, but I was just monitoring it. But man, this whole Jared Cook situation, Twitter going crazy right now. Saints Twitter losing their mind about this statement. What are your thoughts on Jared Cook, man?
Look, if everybody who follows my content recently just checked out my recent community post, I'm gonna just say right now, Jared Cook, you hood Joker 2.0. I'm gonna keep it PG because out of respect, you hood Joker 2.0. You got a lot of gall. Look, what you said earlier. Look, he was a playmaker tight end for the New Orleans Saints in 2019. But when how do you regress from a 2019 year where you're actually popping off? You're a playmaker. You were a difference maker in 2019 and second half of the season. How do you regress? That doesn't make any sense to me. You regress from 2019 when you were probably the number 2 option to Michael Thomas, and you were barely getting as much production as, I don't know, Adam Troutman. In the future, you had stone hands the entirety of the season. You were a guy that was putting people in the hospital room for cardiac arrest. Come on, Jared, man. This ain't it. This ain't the move. Now, let's look at it from his comments, right? He wasn't talking about just the offense, like, specifically, right? Yeah, he talked about receivers, but in the initial part of his interview, he talked about the team as a whole talent-wise. So let's go ahead and look at the talent-wise of the entire team between the Los Angeles Chargers and the New Orleans Saints. Let's talk about the defense. Right now, the secondary for the Los Angeles Chargers is in retooling mode. I'm not going to say rebuilding because that's disrespectful, but they're in retooling mode. Whereas the New Orleans Saints, they somehow managed to not only get themselves under the $70 million cap, and now they have extra spending money, $6 million as of today, to go ahead and sign a free agent. They still maintain Marcus Williams. They still have Marshawn Lattimore. They have a first-round potential prospect in Paulson Adebo. They can still sign a veteran corner out there in free agency, and they have the leadership of Mal Jenkins, who still played at an all-time high level last year, despite the no OTAs, despite the no preseason, despite the weird circumstances around training. The Saints secondary is better overall than Los Angeles Chargers. Let's look at the linebackers. Let's see what the Saints got. They still have Demario Davis, one of the best middle linebackers over the last 3 seasons. You have, who else do they have? They have Zach Bond, who I'm still questioning. Okay, I'll give him that. We have, who else we have? We have Pete Warner, okay, Caden Ellis. Overall, I say we're pretty even. We're pretty even. I'll give him that. Murray, he caught fire with the Chargers, and I believe Kenneth Murray is going to have a breakout year. Okay, so shout out to them. We're pretty even. The defensive line, come on, man. Not even because they have Melvin Ingram on the opposite side and Joey Bosa. Okay, so we have Cameron Jordan. We still have Marcus Davenport, who I believe is going to have, I'm going to say a breakout year, but he's going to be more impactful than he was last season, mainly because of what Peyton Turner is going to be bringing, right? And hold off for a second. Peyton Turner is a guy, I believe, is a guy that can really elevate Marcus Davenport, because who better to elevate your play against athlete with a large wing than another freakish athlete who has a large wingspan? You have somebody who can relate to you now on a fundamental level in terms of production, right? Let's look at the interior of the New Orleans Saints. They still have David Onyemata, who had a breakout year last year with over 6.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, I'm sorry, man, but we having like some issues. We're having some issues with your connection, man. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Aaron, we're having a little issues with your connection, man. I'm sorry about that. You was going in and out. I apologize. Yeah, we couldn't really hear what you were saying. I apologize, man. Feel free to call back to finish up your statement. Akeem says our fan base is too sensitive and soft. Why should we care what he thinks? Just because he ain't here no more. We can't care that much. Nobody got this mad when Darren Sproles' wife predicted we wouldn't go back to the playoffs after he got with Philadelphia and we went 7-9 3 years in a row. Come on, people. Hakeem, that's a very interesting point right there. Me personally, I'm not one of those people that, it's almost like if you're in a, you in a relationship and a relationship run its course and you're like, okay, we agreed to separate on, you know what I'm saying, on good terms. And then all of a sudden you hear, you know, your significant other, the person that you was with, bad mouthing you. I'm not going to just sit up there and just be like, man, well, forget you too. Like, I don't get it, man. The dude, like, was good for the New Orleans Saints, okay? I mean, he was a solid tight end. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just going to knock this dude just because he had some bad games, bad situations. You know, I think he was going through a lot mentally, if you ask me. And I'm just not going to kick a guy on the door just because, you know, he decided to, like, say that. And I mean, what was he supposed to say? You know, like the fact of the matter is this. You know, the fact of the matter is this, man. I mean, he's with the Chargers. I mean, why would he sit up there and be praising the New Orleans Saints team? You know what I'm saying? He's not here anymore. I mean, so me personally, I don't really care. Quinn, how you doing, man?
How you doing, man?
How you doing, man? You're talking about Jared Cook. What do you think about Jared Cook's comments, man?
I mean, I really paying no attention, like you were just saying. Like, it really don't matter to me. He can't read what he was supposed to say anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You don't want him to say that the Saints was better. You know what I'm saying? That sounds stupid. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, nobody worrying about that, man. We don't even got to talk about him no more. Leave him alone.
Yeah,
leave him alone like we leave you alone. Just leave them folks alone, man.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I mean, look, if I'm talking about the Chargers, it's not like the Chargers are sorry, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to like their offense. I mean, it's pretty legitimate what he said, talking about they're having a really good offense. Like Keenan Allen is one of the most underrated wide receivers in football. Mike Williams is really good too. He just can't stay healthy. And then you have Austin Eckler, who is almost like a Darren Sproles type, you know what I'm saying, pass catch and running in between the tackles. So I mean, they got talent on that team, man. So I mean, it justified what he said.
You know, overall, they not better. We technically kind of proved it already. You know,
not really. I can't say that. Not really.
You don't think so?
No, man. Like, man, where's get like on that game in Monday Night Football? Like, let's just be 100. Like, come on, man. Like, if it was 4th down, 1-on-1, Mike Williams versus Marshawn Lattimore, they converted, right? The only reason why we went into overtime is because the field goal kicker missed that field goal. If he would have made that field goal, game would have been over. I mean, we kind of lucked out in that situation. For us to sit up here and just say, like, we just leaps and bounds better than them, I don't believe it. I don't. I don't believe it. Like, I feel like I do feel like the Saints, when it comes to coaching, are better. You know what I'm saying? In situational football, if it came down to it, who will make the best adjustments in order to win? The Saints. But for me to say that the Saints would just leaps and bounds better than the Chargers, that would just be the homer in me saying it. I'm not gonna knock them for that, man. I mean, they talented. Justin Herbert is the truth. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can just totally just say they just leaps and bounds better than the Chargers. I can't say that.
You know, one thing I was thinking about too. I was thinking about when we was talking about that Taysom Hill, the James thing. I just realized I think they both gonna be starting. You know why? Because I think one gonna be starting on play action, one gonna be starting just to throw that ball. You get what I mean?
Right.
I think Taysom gonna end up starting game 1 just because he gonna do it. They gonna give him the ball and let him run. You know what I'm saying? And that's his way of starting. You get what I mean? Like, I feel like he's about to be on something like that. I don't know what they got going on. Sometimes I be getting mad that they don't be telling us they don't be showing us nothing like every other team. You know what I'm saying? You ever realize something? We the only team that be like in the dark with a lot of stuff until like it's time to really get into it.
Yeah, that's because Sean Payton come from the school of Bill Parcells, man. Bill Parcells was known for not really showing his hand. You know, like he was the one that always came in the late hours and you didn't figure out what he was doing. That's why you see Sean Payton, he don't like to really talk about injuries. He don't really like to talk about personnel changes and stuff like that. And he keep a lot of things in house because that's the way that Bill Parcells, you know, his mentor, that's the way he did things. So Sean kind of follows in those footsteps. You know, and does the same way with the New Orleans Saints. So, I mean, we'll see, Quinn. You know, we'll see. I can't see him having a 2 quarterback set. I don't feel like Sean would actually work like that, but Sean never been in this situation, so we'll see, Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else, man?
I'm good for right now. I'm call back later.
All right, man. Appreciate it, Quinn. Take it easy, man. All right, man. Shouts out to Quinn. But I'm just being 100, man. I can't sit up here and just say that the Chargers are just beneath the Saints. I think when it comes to pass rush, I think with Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa, I think, man, they got two of the, what I'm saying, that's like a Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis type combination going on over there. Talent, Mike Williams, once again, Mike Williams was incredible at Clemson. He was really, really good. He was a talented wide receiver and still a talented wide receiver. He just always hurt. Keenan Allen, I mean, very underrated. The reason why people don't really talk about Keenan Allen as much is because he was playing out there with the Chargers and they haven't been making the playoffs over the last couple of years. But Justin Herbert is the real deal. This guy is cool under pressure. He's able to dissect defenses and he's an extremely smart football player. And when you have a recipe like that, you have the recipe for success. So, I mean, we looking at the New Orleans Saints and what's the topic of conversation? Are the Saints going to have Jameis or are they going to have Taysom as a quarterback? As of right now, the Saints don't have a franchise quarterback anymore. The Chargers do. So I can't just say that the Saints were just that much better than the Chargers. If you watch that game, I mean, Justin Herbert lit the Saints up. I mean, he was picking the Saints apart, and the Saints were lucky to win that football game. So, and if we're looking at it objectively, and that's not even like we have to understand in that game too, Joey Bosa was in and out of the lineup. I think he was dealing with like some type of injury or something like that. So he wasn't even at 100%. So there was a lot of things that, wasn't going right for the New Orleans Saints, not to mention Keenan Allen left that game with an injury right before he scored a touchdown in the back of the end zone in the second quarter. So a lot of things went the Saints' way in order for them to be there in that game. But I'm not going to pretend like I didn't watch Justin Herbert light the New Orleans Saints up like a Christmas tree. So, John, what's going on, man?
Hey there, TJ. How are you doing?
Hey, how you doing, John?
I'm doing fairly well. I want to get up here and talk about Jared Cook. People literally threatened this man after the football game, and Cameron Jordan's wife had to get up there and say something. Us Saints fans threatened the man and his kids and family just over a game of football.
Yeah, man.
We get sit up here and we get this man crap, but he's right. I mean, Traquan Smith has brick hands at time. Hell, Deontay Harris is good, but he's too short. He has no weight on him. And Marquez Callaway, hell, he had a good game against the Panthers. I mean, who does the Panthers have that can cover somebody? That's why they picked a DB with the first pick in the draft.
Right. Good point.
I mean, Jared Cook he's right. He's right. And I think we're just mad because it's our team he's talking about. But if you look at it, the only two playmakers we know we have on offense is Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. Besides that, we don't know what else. Yeah. I mean, they could be having a good year, but we don't know. I mean, come on. People get this man crap for no reason. Jared Cook, in my opinion, this is one of the best tight ends in the league. And people will get this man crap just for being Jared Cook. Right. Oh, he's fumbled. And don't act like we didn't have a chance to win the game after they fumbled it. Because last time I checked, Drew Brees threw 2 interceptions.
Tell it.
Last thing. And then I think when he fumbled the ball, didn't we held him to a field goal or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
We held him to a field goal. Drew Brees go up there, throw a pick, but no one wants to talk about that because he's Drew Brees and he's the God. They act like he's God of New Orleans. But I mean, I don't have nothing against Drew Brees, but I mean, just like you said, TJ, they act like you can't say nothing about Drew Brees unless you're not a true Saints fan. But I just want to say, leave Jared Cook alone. He's entitled to his opinion, and we can't get mad. The man played for Los Angeles. He don't play for New Orleans. And what do we think he's going to say? Oh, the Saints are the next great team since the Baltimore Ravens when they won the Super Bowl. I mean, what you want him to say? He's going to speak up for the team he's on. Hell, we cut him. And he was a good tight end, and we cut him. And I think he would want to redeem himself in New Orleans, but we didn't give him that chance to do so, and we just let him go. Because Jared Cook in 2019 had one of the best seasons from a tight end standpoint than we had since Jimmy Graham.
Yep,
So
that's
like,
true. That's true.
I feel like we're giving this guy too much crap. He's entitled to his own opinion, and that's
Yeah.
all I want to say, TJ. I want to hold your podcast up, though.
Yeah, man. John, thank you so much, man. And I
Thank you.
always appreciate your comedy that you send me too, man.
All right.
On Instagram, man. Yeah, man. I appreciate that, man. You're always good for a laugh. I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, take it easy, brother.
You did.
Yeah, man. Shouts out to John, man. Always coming through with the comedy, man. He always like sends me these funny little messages on Instagram. He's an extremely funny guy, no doubt about that. But he got a good point, man. I just think that we're so territorial when it comes to the Saints. We don't sometimes look at the fact that some of the things that people say, we've been saying too. Like we talk about the Saints offense all the time. We talk about how the Saints are limited when it comes to like the wide receiver position. What has been the primary topic of conversation here on the State of the Saints podcast for the last couple of weeks? Who is going to be the number 2 receiver? Emmanuel Sanders gone. Who is going to be the number 2 receiver? All the Saints got is Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. But if he comes out here and says that the Chargers have more offensive weapons than the New Orleans Saints, he feels all of a sudden we mad. Come on, man. Like why are we sitting up here getting upset? Why? Because he said it? You know, like I don't get it, man. Like these are topics that we've talked about. And I wish I can sit up here and just be as mad as everybody else, but I mean, I can't because I have to agree with what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? The Chargers have a really good offense. And I can't sit up here and just, if I were just to sit up here and just be angry and just snapping off on Jared Cook, I'd just be acting as if I'm a homer, or I'll just be doing that just to try to, you know, put on this actor facade. But I can't do that, man. Y'all know I don't roll like that. So I can't get mad at him for his feelings. The truth hurts. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, CJ? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing fine, man. How you been?
Been doing pretty good. Watching.
Good.
I know this is about Jared Cook, but watching this, Milwaukee is actually pissing me off right now. They had a big lead and blowing it. I mean, no defense. But anyway, I just want to talk about the Jared Cook situation. Well, like I'm hearing certain people say that, well, he's, like you guys say, he's entitled to his own opinion, but I just want to touch back on that game in the divisional round against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because I was reading some comments from people in the chat, and like I've been telling people all along, Jared Cook is not the reason that the New Orleans Saints lost the game to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, his turnover was a momentum game changer. It was a killer. It was definitely, at the wrong time, a bad turnover, but that's not we lost the game. First of all, you lost the game because of Drew Brees with limitation with his arm. Let's just tell it like it is. Just like Michael Thomas said, when the doggone defense know that you're not going to get to throw the ball down the field, they ain't got no chance but to do is play physical on the line of scrimmage, at the line of scrimmage, and even on the wide receivers. When they know you limit, when they know the quarterback is limited, that's all they have to do. Like, I'm just so sick of all the excuses. Everybody try to blame somebody else, but they don't really want to talk about why we really lost the game. If anybody knows something about football, let's just tell her, like, if Drew Brees was what he used to be, I'm just going to be honest, Tampa Bay wouldn't even have a chance. I don't care if Satan was the quarterback. I don't care if Joe Montana was quarterback, Steve Young, any Hall of Fame quarterback was, hell, you can even bring Brett Favre from Mississippi at quarterback. If Drew Brees wasn't limitation in that game, Jared Cook fumble wouldn't even matter, because I guarantee the Saints would have won that game. That's all I want. That's what I want to say on that. What was you about to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, people got mad at Michael Thomas for making those comments too. Like John just said, anytime you say anything negative in regards to Drew Brees, people are ready to defend that. But I mean, look, the dude fumbled the football, but the Saints were up by 7 when they fumbled the football. The Saints were about to go down there, rather they can get 10 points so they can get another touchdown, be up by 14, up by 10. Okay, so he fumbles the football. They get a field goal. Okay, they didn't score. They got a field goal out the deal. Then what happened after that? Drew Brees threw an interception, and the rest was history. So people talk about man, bump all that. Like momentum, like look, I believe in momentum, but look, check this out, man. You're at home, dog. I don't care if they have a crowd up in there or not. You're at home. And there's no such thing as momentum. You know what I'm saying? Like the crowd can play a factor and stuff like that, taking the crowd out of the game. But when ain't nobody up in there's really saying nothing, man, I can't buy that whole momentum statement. Oh, he killed the momentum. Nah, bro. If you're a good football team, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I can't just say he the reason why they lost that football game. But people are entitled to their opinion. Whoever helped them sleep at night, man. You have anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to chime in on that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he was the reason why we, like I said, it was a big momentum game changer because I believe we probably would have scored on that drive. I think we would have got 7 points because we was on the move. But like I say, I'm not going to sit here and say that, that's why we lost the game because of that one bad turn.
I can't either. I can't do it, man. Like I said, I can't. I can't even tell that lie. There's a lot of things that went into that, straight up. But thank you so much, man. I appreciate your take on it, man. Call back anytime.
All right, and I can't wait for you and Big Q tomorrow. That's gonna be nice tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He'll be on here tomorrow, man. So make sure you check it out.
All right, I will.
All right, take it easy.
You too.
Yeah, man. Big Q will be on the show on tomorrow. Be on the State of the Saints podcast. Make sure y'all check it out. Read a few comments before we get to Rudy. Let's see. Ghostface, Griller. Jared Cook listened to the State of the Saints podcast on the daily since we released him. Well, if he does, I appreciate that. Jared Cook about to video and with a fake mustache next. DLP said Jared can say whatever. I'm good. Saints have plenty of talent. Saints not messing around. It ain't got nothing to do with talent, bro. It's about insulting the team for no reason. Look, I don't think he was insulting the team. I don't even take that as an insult. They act about the offense. Do we see similarities of the offense and the talent of the offense of the Chargers than with the Saints? And he felt like he said what he said. And man, like I said, I cannot be mad at him because I can see what he's talking about. I can see it. I can see if why he feels the way that he does. I wish I didn't, but I watched quite a bit of Chargers football, man. And I tell you that they have a really good offense. They were in a lot of games last year, and I think they lost maybe like 5 games. You know what I'm saying? When it came down to the last possession, they are a really good offensive team. I wish I can be like, nah, man, he crazy, but he not. Rudy, what's going on, man?
How's it going, TJ?
Man, doing just fine, man. I see you're still on a mission from God, man.
And especially if that includes working out 30 days with 100 burpees. So
yeah, that's awesome, man.
Follow your example and get healthier. So
yeah, man, that's definitely what we're on right now. The Up and Adam campaign is in full effect. Encouraging everybody to get out there, work out and live your best life, man.
Yep.
Yeah, but Rudy, what you got for me, man? We talking about Jared Cook, or you want to talk about something else, man? The floor is yours.
I'm actually kind of curious about this Jared Cook whole situation. Well, I agree, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Now, I seen that Chargers game against the Saints. They were fighting us tooth and nail.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I got speeding tickets because of that game. I'm not kidding. I was coming home from church, but it feels like there's a little bit of pettiness under the surface of that. That leads me to ask this question: do you think that concussion has went to his head?
Yeah, I've been saying that, Rudy. I've been saying this before the season even started, like at the beginning. Like I'm telling you, if you watch Jared Cook play in 2019 before that concussion, he's like night and day. I mean, the fact that somebody knock your block off, man, and you lose, what I'm saying, like lose focus, you get knocked out cold, that can mess with you psychologically, man.
Yes, it can.
And I just feel like some of the catches that he would normally make, I think he was second guessing himself, and I think it affected the way that he played in 2020.
Yeah, when you get your dome rattled, you're gonna second guess yourself.
Yeah.
To be honest, I truly think that we need to take the concussion protocol more seriously and eject more people because of targeting. Like what they do in the NCAA. That's perfect for the NFL. Save a lot more people's lives and money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's some cases where guy come in at full speed, and sometimes he don't know where he's going to connect with, and I can understand that. But like I said, when guys start to get multiple concussions, I mean, it starts to affect them in the way that they play, and they have to change the way that they play. And sometimes, it can be like a little freak accident, but it keeps messing with you. It's almost like when you get into a car accident. Some people have issues getting behind their wheel again. It changes the way that they drive.
I've seen several cases of people who got in one wreck, they never drive again. But this is a little side note. I think we found C.J. Gardner-Johnson's nickname as well as Deontay Harris.
Okay, what you got?
Well, we kind of was going over it last night. C.J. Voodoo Johnson.
Oh yeah, I like that.
That actually fits them both perfectly. Now, I'm giving a quick shout out to Casual Dex because she gave me a great nickname for DeMario Davis. Street Sweeper.
Okay.
Because a street sweeper is basically an automatic shotgun back in the day. I'm like, that works perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, those are some good nicknames, man. I heard somebody, man. I think I was listening to Nick Underhill, and I seen somebody in the chat. I think this is a really cool name for Adam Troutman. Call him the Big Fish. I like that right there. Trout, you know what I'm saying? Like, because of Troutman, you know what I'm saying? Trout, kind of similar to a fish, so calling him the Big Fish. I thought that was pretty cool.
Call him the Redfish.
Okay, that'll work too.
A lot of redfish down here,
Yeah, that definitely will work too, man. But Rudy, thank you so much for your comment, man. I appreciate it, and call back anytime, man.
You know where to find the sharp dressed man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Rudy, man. Ladies and gentlemen, take it easy, brother.
You too, brother.
All right. Yeah, shouts out to Rudy, man. Always sharp dressed, always on a mission from God, man. TJ, thank you very much. Says we not taking the blame for the rest of the team, but we not going to act like that fumble wasn't big. Yeah, it was a big fumble, but I'm not going to say that was the main reason why they lost. It wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like it just wasn't to me. I seen a lot of turnovers. I seen a lot of mistakes. I seen a limited quarterback. I seen it was a lot in that game. A lot in that game that caused them. You had 2 kick returns that put you in the red zone by Deontay Harris. You had a kick return for a touchdown that came back on some bull, right? You had, like I said, man, they set up twice in the red zone. You got 2 field goals out the deal. Come on, man. If you would have scored at least one of those touchdowns, you know what I'm saying, and went up 10-0, would have been more effective. Like, look at all these things that happened in the first like few minutes of the game. The Saints could have really blew these boys up out of the water. You know what I'm saying? And would have played into their hands because it would have took the running game completely out of the equation for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they would have had to solely throw their way back into the game, and it would have played into the strengths of the Saints. Point blank, period. I'm sorry, but that is a fact. These last few, the fact that they could not cash into the red zone, but we ain't paying no attention to that, right? We got 2 field goals out there, 6-0. Deontay Harris set you up, and he scored a touchdown. But Carl Granderson, I think he had a block in the back. They brought it back. So, but we up here talking about a fumble. Come on, man. Knock it off. Knock it off. Knock it off. There's a lot. You know what I'm saying? There's a you can talk about that fumble, but for me to say that's just the primary reason, it was not. Agree, Jared Cookhead was not in the game in 2020. I saw him make a lot of mental errors. Yeah. I mean, I just feel like he was dealing with something psychologically. What? Marcus Williams got beat by Keenan Allen for a touchdown? Yeah, man, but Marcus Williams played his behind off last season. I just think that when things start to go wrong, right, and the Saints find their way to get back into the game, and we like, okay, now we got it, we back. Then all of a sudden, anything after that particular situation is the primary reason. Like, do y'all not understand? Like, they set up twice in the red zone. They had one. Deontay Harris ran back a kick for a touchdown. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you basically was dominating that game. You could have went up easily by like 3 scores early in the game, but they couldn't cash it in. Why are we not paying attention to that? But all of a sudden, we up here talking about a fumble when the Saints were up by 7 points. But momentum is a real thing. Okay, man, whatever. They called momentum. I can see if the momentum led them to a touchdown. Momentum led them to a field goal. That was a win. Because when he fumbled, they were in plus territory. So for them to hold these boys to a field goal, that was a win. If they would have went down there and scored a touchdown, I can understand this whole momentum theory, but it wasn't. So what do we? I cannot blame this dude primarily for the Saints' loss. I get people mad at that fumble, man, but come on, man. There's a lot of blame to go around there. They should have did a check down with Kamara. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we're going to talk about a loss, why we ain't talking about the fact that we talk about Alvin Kamara running the wrong route? Instead of, he was supposed to stop, he went straight up the field, and it was an interception by Devin White. We ain't talking about that, though. So I can't blame that man for that. They just been the way the Saints offense have been for the last few years, even the NFC Championship game, a couple of years back, the Vikings playoff loss as well. Let's see. Get over that. That was like 4 years ago, and Marcus was a rookie, and since then, he's been a top 5 safety. Yeah, if anybody talking about Marcus Williams in 2021, man, let it go. Just let it go, man. Let it go. The dude made that he missed the tackle in his rookie season and been one of the best safeties in football ever since. I will say this. I believe Taysom not playing hurt too. I agree with that. I think Taysom not playing in the game was beneficial. You know what I mean? It was beneficial to Tampa. You know what I'm saying? Because he did a lot of damage against Tampa when they played him early in the season. Kim says, man, they all played a part in that L. For real. I think we all can just look at this whole blame pie and everybody gets sliced. Breeze looked scared in that Bucs playoff game. I just think that he was limited. He was limited, and he went out there and gave it his all. All wasn't good enough. Drew Brees turnover in their territory killed us 21 points, period. Yeah, and that's another thing. The majority of drop started around the 41-yard line. That's unprecedented. I mean, it's almost like if somebody returns the ball all the way to the 41-yard line every single play. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was. Like, they average started at the 41-yard line. That's insane. That is insane that they would all they got to do is get about 9 to 10 yards in the plus territory. Like, that's insane. Let's be real. Drew Brees has always sucked in the playoffs. Even in his younger days, Drew looked awful last year versus the Vikings, and he wasn't even the reason we went to the Super Bowl. Tracy Porter was. He played pretty good in the NFC Championship game when they played the Vikings back in 2009. You know, I mean, they was going toe to toe now. I like that playoff run that he had back in 2009. That's probably was his most impressive playoff performance to me. I mean, you know, what he did in those games and then what he did in the Super Bowl, that probably was his best playoff performance, you know. But I have to agree, man, Drew Brees leaves a lot to be desired in the postseason. You can't turn the ball over that many times in a game against Brady. I agree. Tom Brady really wasn't that spectacular. I agree with that too. That defense helped them out tremendously, especially in the NFC Championship game, man. He didn't play that well. First half, he played pretty well. Second half, not so much. I feel like when it comes to Saints fans, it's about the messenger. Nobody wants to hear Ron Jeremy say anything about safe sex. Good point, man. That's just it. You know, not even, you know, not so much the messenger. You know what I'm saying? Just who the message is about. So yeah, it can be about the messenger sometimes, but sometimes it's mostly about the message. You know what I'm saying? Like who that message is about. Like if you say anything about Drew Brees, people ready to attack you in a Who Dat Nation. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you a Saint fan or not. People question your loyalty to the team. They question like, are you really a fan? And I mean, I've gotten that all the time. Like when I first started doing this show and I started really, being critical of, a Drew Brees performance, people were getting mad at me. And this is the thing, man. People feel like, well, it's better than what we used to have for bump all that, man. I'm not going to sit up here and just say, oh, just because we've never had anything like this before, it's beyond reproach. Man, get out of here. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, if you play bad, I don't care who you are. You play bad. If you suck, you suck, period. And anybody that's being real with themselves and checking out playoff performances in the past of some of the legendary quarterbacks, you have to say to yourself, and this is not a knock to Drew Brees, he is not up there among the best quarterbacks in NFL history when it comes to playing in the playoffs. Now, in the regular season, yes, absolutely. Putting those numbers up, throwing for all those yards, absolutely. But I'm talking about when it all comes down to it, when it matters most, Drew Brees is not a quarterback that I would mention in that category. Did he bring a legitimacy to New Orleans? Absolutely. Did he bring a Super Bowl to New Orleans? Yes, he did. But for me to sit up here and say, oh, is Drew Brees one of the best playoff quarterbacks in NFL history? Hell no. Hell no. I mean, it's not a knock on him. It's just facts. Would you put him in the same category as a Joe Montana? No. Would you put him in the same category in the playoffs as a Tom Brady? No. Would you put him in the same category as somebody like a Peyton Manning? No. Hell, I would even put Eli Manning in the playoffs before Drew Brees. If you're being realistic, in the playoffs, Eli Manning is a better quarterback than Drew Brees is. Now, if we talking about regular season, overall quarterback, no. Playoffs, yes. I wouldn't even put Drew in that category. And I love him. But I'm just being realistic. Drew Brees has left a lot to be desired in the postseason. And we just have to come to grips with it. You have to deal with it. Sorry, Who Dat Nation. Sorry, this may not be the message that you wanted to hear. Sorry that I'm not sitting up here and just blaming every other person outside of Drew, but it's a fact. When you are the leader of the team, when you all go to the pulpit and talk about how much respect and everything that people need to put on Drew Brees' name, like, bruh, stuff like this is the reason why he always get discredited. Sorry, it is what it is. This is the reason why Drew Brees always get discredited. This is the reason why he didn't have a burgundy jacket on when it came to the 100 players, you know what I'm saying, what the 100 years of the NFL. That's the reason why he wasn't in the books. Because people just look at him as just a quarterback that just throw for 100 yards, but when it matters most, he doesn't get the job done. He got it done once, but more times than not, he doesn't. That's a hard pill to swallow, regular season GOAT. Yeah. He is, man. Drew Brees is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But when it comes to the playoffs, when it comes to the money football, I wouldn't put him in that category. If you're being realistic, if you're just being realistic, you would not put Drew Brees in that category because he doesn't belong there. Now, in the regular season, put for a whole bunch of yards, he is the greatest quarterback, you know what I'm saying, statistically of all time. Can't knock that. Regular, you know what I'm saying, more completion, higher completion percentage. You know what I'm saying? Right now, he has the yards record. Most likely going to be taken by Tom Brady this season. But at the same time, man, nobody, like, records are made to be broken, dog. Once upon a time, people was talking about how good Dan Marino was with all these records, but as those records go down, you notice in the sands of time, Dan Marino's name becomes dimmer and dimmer. You know, but people be getting their little feelings hurt because they don't want to come to grips with it. You know, I know this is about Jared Cook, but like I said, back to that playoff game, I can't say that he was the main issue. I mean, turnovers, blocks in the back, not being able to punch the ball into the end zone consistently. So, I mean, If people want an amen corner and talk about how great a person is all day, all night, wrong show. Wrong show. We keep it real here. We keep it real. Even if a lot of you don't agree with me, I'm gonna tell you how I feel. And this ain't somebody that just became a Saints fan in 2006. I've been a Saints fan my whole entire life. So I look, it's sacrilegious to bro, knock that off, man. If we gonna judge football, we gonna judge football. If we gonna judge championships, we gonna judge championships. If we gonna judge greatness, we gonna judge greatness. We not gonna grade on a curve for some people and not grade on a curve for everybody. If we're not grading on a curve for nobody, then we need to keep it 100. Drew Brees, great quarterback. Playoffs, left a lot to be desired. Rudy says, while that is true, the Rams cornerback covering Thomas, he was hugging him, and there went another defensive PI that was not called. A lot of things, man. A lot of things didn't go to win that NFC Championship game. Cook helped this lose that game. He helped us lose that game to the Bucs. Well, I mean, yeah, he did. I'm not gonna knock him for that. That turnover was, it hurt the team because it put the ball back into the hands of Tampa and giving them another opportunity on a short field. Tyra says, TJ speaking facts about Drew regular season accolades is one thing, but playoffs is a different thing. It's a win or go home thing. He didn't get us to the promised land. Drew's playoff record, I believe he finished at 10-9. With this season, he was 8-8 going into the 2019 playoffs. So that was the real fact. Drew is not a playoff quarterback. It's that simple. Look, can he lead the Saints to the playoffs? Yes. Great, some of the greatest playoff performances of all time. You can say that Super Bowl when he threw for all those completions before Tom Brady broke that record in the Super Bowl when he had like 32 completions. That was like more completions than any other quarterback in a Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, that run in 2009 probably was his best playoff performance. I want to see what Troutman does now. Cook going. Yeah, me too, man. I think he's going to have a really good season. What up, TJ? How are you doing, my brother? Tell it like it is, man. I got to. But I just want to take this moment to let everybody know that the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by manscaped.com. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints, and you will save 20% on all Manscaped items. Free international shipping is available. Get ready for Father's Day because we all know that Father's Day is Sunday. So why not give your father or even give yourself, all those fathers out there, a gift from Manscaped? So 20% off by using the promo code State of Saints. That's all lowercase letters, all one word, State of Saints. You will save 20% off. Thank you all so much. And if you're liking the show right now, go ahead and give your boy a thumbs up. Give a golden thumbs up. Let everybody know that you're enjoying the show. I apologize if I'm not telling people what they want to hear. Well, not really. Man, TJ, you just made those Drew Brees fans not Saints fans mad as hell. Man, I don't care. Look, you gotta be real with yourself. You gotta be real, man. And it just because you don't walk into the mirror and say something about yourself doesn't mean that it isn't true, right? If you go out here and you gain about 20 pounds and you don't look in the mirror, don't mean that you ain't gained 20 pounds, right? Just because you don't want to have these type of conversations don't mean that they ain't accurate. I'm just telling you. This, based on what people look at as great quarterback performances, if we're evaluating them, if we're looking at it, regular season don't really matter. It don't. It don't. Like, nobody really cares about the regular season like that. It matters what you do in a postseason. That's when legends are made. He became a legend. Like, he legitimized himself by bringing a snakebit franchise to the Super Bowl. With that, he became a legend, right? You know what I'm saying? So you can't knock him for that, right? Because he brought a snake-bitten franchise to the promised land. So he's a legend. But when we talk about great performances, when we're talking about legendary playoff performances, he had one, but when we start talking about some of the greatest of all time, no, he's not in there. Ghostface says, TJ, I need marriage advice. My wife about to leave me because of my farts. What should I do? I can't answer that question. Maybe go fart in the other room, where she can't smell it. I guess. I guess that's the best advice I can give, man. It's always about defense. Look at Tampa. They got hot. Saints defense choked a lot. Man, look, I don't even want to say the Saints defense choked. I can't even say that, man. It is hard to stop a team when they starting at the 41. Like, that is hard. The best you can probably ask for is a field goal. That defense played pretty doggone good in that game, man. They're just behind the 8 ball more times than not. It's like a business. If you ignore why your business is failing, then it will fail. Exactly. Brady winning our division still hurts. And that makes it worse. You got a guy who came from the AFC East, went to one of the worst franchises in NFL history, and then in the first year won a Super Bowl. And the Saints for the last 4 years have won more games than any other team in the National Football League. Have went to the playoff 4 times and squandered 4 years. Like, that made him look even worse. That made him look even worse, man. Like, when people start thinking about that, that's what they're going to say. Actually, that was a tie for the most completions. Yeah. Brady getting a Super Bowl in our division still hurts. Yeah, it does. But it also legitimizes him even more. Those Drew Brees fans, not Saints fans, thank you very much for the $2. Says we mad as hell. Yeah, I mean, look, but what they say, tell the truth, shame the devil. Ain't that what they say? Juwan Johnson at tight end can be another weapon. Yeah, I agree. Definitely in red zone situations. His ability to be able to run routes, his ability to be able to add a few more pounds without really dropping off his speed. I think it would be beneficial to him staying on his team too. Nets won 114-108 series. Nets 3, Bucks 2. No dog in this fight, but I picked the Nets in 7, and it's going to happen. LOL. Tyra, yeah, look, it's interesting, man. Speaking of choke artists, the Milwaukee Bucks, man, what is going on here, man? 2 straight MVP trophies for Giannis. Not this year, but Jokic got it this year. But I mean, look, when you got 2 back-to-back MVPs, man, you losing. Interesting, man. Good football team, good basketball team. But man, you got to be able to get it done. You got to get it done. So we're going to win a Super Bowl with Jameis, and that would take time in the NFC. You got Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. Yeah, right. Bro, we can talk about this all day, all night. You look at people like Jared Goff. Jared Goff, is he a top 10 quarterback? No, he's not, but he went to the Super Bowl with the Rams. At the time, we talk about Russell Wilson. I seen you had him on the list, but at the time when they went to the Super Bowl, Russell Wilson wasn't who he was today. That defense was one of the main reasons why they ended up being there. If you looked at the NFC Championship game against the Green Bay Packers when the Seattle Seahawks went to the Super Bowl the second time, Russell Wilson looked like trash. I think he threw like about 3-4 interceptions in that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we can pretend like, look, I don't fall into that narrative like you just got to be super legendary, be a super legendary quarterback to win a Super Bowl. I just don't buy that. If you got a solid team around you and you got a quarterback that can be able to, get the job done, limit, you know what I'm saying, and put the ball where it needs to be in order to extend drives, you can win. You can go to a Super Bowl. So I don't fall into that, man. That's what the national media do. They tell you need a Mahomes. They tell you need a Brady. They tell you need Deshaun Watson. They tell you that you need guys like that. But the reality is, if you got a quarterback that can limit his mistakes and get the ball into the hands of the playmakers, you can go to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be star-studded in order to get your team to the Super Bowl. But you do need some complementary things around you in order for you to be successful. I don't buy that. Won't buy it, never will buy it. That's what they do in order to, to keep people captivated. to have us sitting in barbershops and having these conversations like, we need a franchise quarterback. We need somebody like Mahomes. We need somebody like Rodgers. Rodgers only had one Super Bowl. As talented as he has been, as much arm strength and ability that he's had over his career, he only has one Super Bowl. He has been to the NFC Championship on multiple occasions, only to lose and not get back to the Super Bowl. So it's not always about the arm strength. It's not always about the ability. You look at somebody like Peyton Manning, great, and great when it comes to analyzing the game. Went to the Super Bowl on 4 occasions and only won 2. So I don't know, man. The way I look at it, you don't need to be star-studded in order for you to get to the Super Bowl. That's what I feel like they want you to think. Of course, you need a superstar quarterback. ESPN says so. Yeah, ESPN, they always got something to say, But it's about ratings. It's about bringing you all in, and it's about leaving you all with narratives so we can go ahead and go back and forth about that. But man, where has the integrity in journalism went, man? I just want to know. One thing I would criticize the Saints these last few years, we always wind up losing super important games during the season that bite us come playoff time. 2019 in San Fran, 2020 versus the Packers. Yeah, got to be able to get it done. But even with that, even losing games like that, would you still say that the Saints were capable of winning against a team in the playoff? Yes, absolutely. And in the last couple of years, they should have had no reason, because the narrative, if we listening to ESPN, the dome, everybody come to the dome, it be rocking, it be shaking, it be all moving all around, and you can't hear yourself. You got to put the earplugs in. And what has happened in the last 2 years? The Saints, on back-to-back playoff appearances, have lost at home. So what do you mean to tell me that the dome field advantage don't exist? Come on, man. I don't care about that. The Saints still had opportunities to win, and they had home games. What's the excuse? Apparently, the Saints supposed to be unbeatable at home, and they lost 2 playoff games at home. Interesting, right? Patriots have been getting to the Super Bowl for 20 years without major stars. Exactly. My point exactly. Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl. Rex Grossman didn't win, but he went to the Super Bowl. Mark Rippon, Jeff Hostetler, Neil O'Donnell. Do you not say more? We ain't talking about winning. We talking about going to the Super Bowl. Come on, man. Neil O'Donnell were trash for the Jets, trash for the Steelers. They just had a really good defense. Three River Stadium, all that kind of stuff. Kevin Green, Cardell Lake, all them boys. Man, stop letting people tell y'all that y'all need a franchise quarterback and a person that can throw the ball 60 yards on their back foot winning the Super Bowl. ESPN are a bunch of puppets. They're told what to say and when to apologize and what team to deride. Basically, I would never work for ESPN. Shout out to Kidda. What's up, everybody? I don't think I put it like this, man. If I have to lose myself in order to advance myself, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I think I'm doing pretty damn good right now. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like you don't have to lose yourself. I guess if people want to go out there and just make a ton of money and just want to be a shock jock and just say all type of off the wall stuff. But I don't know, man. I just feel like eventually people are just going to get tired of that stuff. That's why I tell people that want to start podcasts to stay true to yourself and don't listen to or watch or care about what you're actually seeing from these shock jocks. Because all these people want to do is just remain in that position because it's so competitive, man. It's just so competitive. Me personally, if I gotta be like that, then bruh, I'm happy. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm happy being an independent podcaster. I'm happy being able to do my show and watching the State of the Saints podcast, blow up and grow. And I don't feel like I have to lose sight of myself or lose sight of the goal. Tim, thank you very much for the $5. Says the lame of the quarterback last name is the worst. They are. ESPN guys are character actors playing a role. I agree with that. Plot twist. Winston becomes a franchise quarterback. Should be interesting to see. I feel the exact same way. Fixed. Tom Brady is going to get hurt and retire this season. Well, I don't want to see the man get hurt. You know, if he does retire, I'd rather him do it on his own power. I don't want to see the man get hurt. And Matt Ryan went 28-3. Never forget. But Matt Ryan, look, I understand we don't like the Falcons, but I'm not going to say Matt Ryan is a terrible quarterback because he's not. He won league MVP for a reason that year. So I wouldn't put him in some of the worst quarterbacks to go to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't put him in that category. I wouldn't put him in. I wouldn't. I can't. I mean, I don't like the Falcons, y'all, as y'all already know. But I wouldn't say he the worst quarterback I seen go to the Super Bowl. The NFL is fixed. You might as well stop being upset over your teams winning or losing because the games are fixed. NOLA 504. I don't think they're going to stop a lot of people, even if it was, you know. I mean, you still got wrestling fans up here getting mad when Roman Reigns attacked Rey Mysterio. You know what I'm saying? like you know that they don't hate each other for real, but you still mad, you know what I'm saying, watching Roman beat the heck out of Rey Mysterio. I mean, it's, you know, but the thing about it is, man, we're just so emotionally invested in football. We just love it so much. The passion, the love, and everything else going on, everything in between. I mean, we're just so invested in it. And, you know, I mean, I don't think that's ever going away. Tim says, in all honesty, TJ, if the Saints stay healthy, God willing, what percent chance do you have them going to the bowl? If they stay healthy, Tim, thank you for the $5 again also, man. But if they can stay healthy, I give the Saints about a 75% chance of them making the Super Bowl. 75%. You know, the other 25%, I mean, you know, they can gain momentum by maybe adding a little bit more depth to their team. You know, Saints don't equal Nielsen ratings at all. No, they don't. The thing that was making the Saints interesting was Drew Brees. But I mean, I can't say that right now because here's the thing. I mean, the Saints have more primetime games than most teams in the league. I think they got 5. They up there. So obviously people want to see them. They still want to see them. They still feel like they're worth watching. So we'll see. We'll see. Remember when ESPN said we couldn't win on the road? Now I'd rather see them play on the road. Yeah, they're a really good road team. But like I said, that's the narrative. You know, it's about storylines. Look, anybody needs to understand anything about media. You know, I just want you to understand this. The media is about storylines. It's about storylines. That's why they put these games together. That's why they put these primetime games together, because of the storylines. Think it's a coincidence that you have the Patriots playing Tampa in Gillette? You know, you think it's a coincidence that you see the Cowboys, you know what I'm saying, playing all these different teams? The Cowboys, playing Tampa Bay, right? Now, you think that's a coincidence? It's about storylines. It's about being able to create this narrative and create the journalism in order for you all to become invested. That's what it's about. You know, and if you can get people talking, if you can get people excited, if you can get enough talking heads to get into people's ear and get them motivated and perked up and bucked up to watch something, then you've done your job. But here's the thing, man. Like, if you're good at what you do, I don't feel like you really have to go through those lengths in order to do it. If you're talented, you can stay true. I mean, there are some extraordinary writers out here, you know. And shouts out to Canal Street Chronicles, Who Dat Dish. There are some very good freelance writers out there, man, that do an outstanding job at bringing you in and making you invested in that. And it's not a bunch of hyperbole. It's not a bunch of nonsensical, nefarious things to draw you in. It just a person that's analyzing, taking a look at different things and really just, you know what I'm saying, just really trying to get you to understand their point of view. And those are the journalists and those are the writers that I respect. You know, those are the people that I respect, people like that. But the people that's out here just trying to write and just trying to come up with a very, you know, compelling title in order for you to just to click on it, like those are the type of people that I just really don't have a lot of respect for as far as journalists. You know, I was having a conversation with a really well-known journalist, and you know, he was telling me, he said he didn't like the direction that, you know, media was going in. You know, he said, you know, a lot of people want to get on TV and want to be all, you know, like with the shock jocks and just saying all these off the wall different things and coming up with all these little comedy bits. He said he doesn't like that. And he even like challenged me about that. You know what I'm saying? He challenged me. He said, you know, you have an opportunity to do something different. Like basically what type of journalist, what type of podcast or broadcaster you want to be. And I respect him, you know, respect the hell out of him for that. You know, I respect the hell out of him for that. But, and you know, this is one of the most well-respected journalists out there that told me that. Made me change my whole perspective on how I approach this show, and you know, and what type of leader or what type of podcast or broadcaster I want to be. So all my podcasters out here, man, like seriously, all my writers, what type of podcaster, what type of writer do you want to be? Do you want to just be a person that, you know, just get a bunch of follows and likes, a bunch of empty calorie articles, but everybody know who you are? Or do you want to put some substance in what you're doing? Because you know the substance that you put in, it's going to take you a longer way than just a bunch of empty calories, man. You know, so stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. You know, I had a teacher when I was in college. He said, you know, if you always tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said. You know, if you always stay true to yourself, you never have to wonder what type of individual you have become. You know, you're like the individual that you see in the mirror every single day. So just a little food for thought for all my journalists and all the podcasters out there. 5 primetime games, 2 Monday night games, 1 Sunday night game, and 2 Thursday night games. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of primetime football games. Say, Tim, you still be preaching at church? No, I do not. Not. I went to the seminary for, I'd say about a year and a half, for those that don't know. I went to the seminary for like a year and a half, but I just realized, man, that's not really, you know what I'm saying, my calling. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you don't have to like be in a pulpit for you to live a good life, or being able to, you know what I'm saying, like people to see a light in you. And then on top of that, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, that I came in contact with, people that were, you know, religious individuals, I really just didn't like the way that they were living, to be honest with you. A lot of them, you know, I feel like they were just talking because they were silver tongues, and, you know, it was a money grab. And I see them like talking about other ministers that probably wasn't as advanced educationally as them. And, and it just left a bad taste in my mouth. So for those that probably didn't know, that's a little something about me. Yeah, for a while, I attended the seminary. But let's see. Big Herb says no more talk about Davenport. Guys, a bust. Let's face it, Granderson 10 sacks this year, easy. I don't want to say Davenport a bust yet. I'm just gonna say, you know, he just been hurt. TJ, you sound like a minister telling the congregation the truth that they don't want to accept. Hey, man, it is what it is, man. I mean, they got an issue, they got a problem with it, then, you know, I mean, it's just something that they have to look in the mirror and find. Hey, TJ, that advice you gave to that fart guy about as about as dry as a day old Popeye's biscuit. Hey, man, I'm not a relationship specialist, man. I'm not a Kevin Samuels or a Derek Jackson. But look, hey, man, I just feel like when it comes to relationships, look, you know what to do, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what to do. Like, you know, man, if you're not treating your significant other with respect, you know, you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know if you're not doing the right things. You know if you're giving that woman or giving that guy extra time, you know, that you shouldn't be giving. You know that if you ain't been telling your wife or your husband you love them, like, you know what to do. Or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, like, you know what to do. I'm just not a relationship specialist, man. I'm not gonna sit up here and be acting like I just know. You know what I'm saying? I have all the answers, like I'm Sway. Once again, I'm not Sway. You know, I love my wife. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, I have the question like, man, why does my wife love me? You know what I'm saying? I don't think I deserve, you know what I'm saying, the type of love at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, but, you know, I'm just a lucky guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just lucky. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like God has found favor in me and putting me in these positions that I'm in. And, you know, I wish I can give people better advice, but I can't. Reverend Dr. Uncle TJ. Oh man. Not really, man. That makes all the sense of the world because I always imagine you as a preacher. Glad you went there this route. Yeah, man. Look, like I said, I went like a year and a half, and I was close, man. And I was, speaking at church and stuff like that. But like I said, I just realized it just wasn't for me, man. Like I just didn't, I just felt like it was what I feel like everybody expected of me versus what I really wanted. Because I mean, I just wanted to make my grandfather proud. You know what I'm saying? Like that's always been my thing and make my family proud. But I just realized I can still be a good person. You know what I'm saying? I can still love God. It's still a love of God into my family and, and feel God and put him first in my life, but I mean, it just didn't seem like a route. It seemed like, it was a route that I was going, but I just realized I just couldn't commit to it fully. TJ, you're going head to head with Underhill podcast right now and you're winning. Look, I love Nick Underhill, man. Shouts out to Nick, and Nick does an outstanding job. You know what I'm saying? He does a really good job over there. And y'all know, man, Nick has been on this show on a few occasions. So, man, shouts out to him and his podcast. It's growing and he's doing an outstanding job. And he is the plug, man. He is the plug of the New Orleans Saints. You know what I'm saying? When he says something, that is gospel. You know what I'm saying? When he tell you something happened, them churches will set out all kinds of eggshells for you to walk on. Totally ruins the gospel message. Look, my grandfather is one of the most genuine preachers I ever met in my entire life. Like, we talk about heaven. If anybody I know, when they close their eyes, and I hope there's a long time from now, if I know somebody going to heaven, I know my grandfather. A stand-up guy. I don't think a person don't have anything negative to say about him. And if they do, it's probably because of how envious they are, how much the family respects him, community respects him. If everybody was like him, then I think every church would be fine. But you have a lot of people, and I'm just being real. They're good at speaking. They're good at public speaking. They're good at moving people and all that kind of stuff. And I could, like, honestly, I could have done it. Like, I could have done it and probably been good at it. But that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. And I just feel like looking at how some of those people move and how they react to certain situations, I mean, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man. Wasn't what I need in the long run. TJ, does Sean Payton deserve some of the blame with the bad playoff performances? Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Overthinking himself, overanalyzing, absolutely. Yeah, you'll never hear me say Sean Payton don't deserve no blame. Definitely deserves some blame. Stop hating on Tom Brady. The guy was a 7th-round, he was a 6th-round pick, Blake. But who you won 7 Super Bowls, going to own every NFL passing record. Brady is the GOAT undoubtedly. Brady has accomplished more as a 6th-round pick. Okay, I'm gonna fix that for you, Blake. But yeah, look, I don't hate on Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only thing is, like, he played in the same division, so of course I don't want him to see him be successful. But he deserves everything that he has, man. He's the greatest underachiever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, well, he's what they say, he's the greatest. Well, I guess he is. Yeah, he underachiever. You know what I'm saying? But he's the greatest overachiever that started out as underachiever ever. Period. We can't knock that for him. Can't wait to see and hear Big Q doing the Reverend Saint Wednesday night. Yeah. Yeah, can't wait for Big Q to be here. He'll be here tomorrow night. TJ in the pool pit. You have not can take the picture, but they can't make it like this. Yes. I went to the Z. Let's see. When I bring up God, I get the click immediately. I went the same route for a while. Yeah, man. I mean, look, could have did it, but like I said, just wasn't for me. Ain't nobody in here trying to hear about Brady's career. Blake Gilligan, come on, bro. Yeah, I don't think nobody want to hear that, but he telling the truth though. I can't get mad at for that. Brady was Spygate and Deflategate. I'm not talking about you, TJ. I was replying to a comment. Okay. Absolutely right. Did Sean Payton have Drew Brees hurt? The dark side. Dark side of the ring, dark side of football. Tom Brady always had a great defense in New England. Bill Belichick is a great coach. Yeah, great as in my lifetime. Belinda Brown says, "How long before the Saints can be a Super Bowl contender again?" I think they're a Super Bowl contender now. You know, couple little breaks go their way. You know, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Sometimes I don't want to say that they're just so far removed that it's not obtainable. Want to watch my two big bros tomorrow, TJ and Big Q. Yeah, looking forward to that. Tom Brady is a cheater, deflate footballs. Okay, now that's for Blake. Real mad because someone dare say Brady wasn't the reason the Bucs beat the Saints. What's happening? TJ, Jarrell, what's happening? Hello, faith-based workplace. Getting a shout out to faith-based workplace that's here. Yeah, man, but all in all, man, we started out talking about Jared Cook. You know, the comments, I mean, the guy's entitled to his opinion. He's no longer with the Saints. He has to build camaraderie and kinship with the team that he's at right now in Los Angeles. I know some people are mad about his comments, but I'm not going to be upset about that because the Chargers are a really good football team. I like them for, you know what I'm saying, from a certain extent. I like Justin Herbert. I think that a lot of people thought him coming out of college, he wasn't going to be as good. I think that the Chargers have themselves a franchise quarterback if he stays healthy. I like his demeanor. I like the way that he never gets too high or too low. And he has some weapons around him, man. And his teammates believe in him. So I can understand why Jared Cook will believe that they have a high-powered offense out there in Los Angeles. And they have a strong chance of winning that division out there in the AFC West. I mean, you look at the Raiders. They don't know what they want to do. They still got some young talent. I don't believe in John Gruden. I was having that conversation with my big brother EJ. You know, you look at the Chiefs. I mean, look, they lost a couple of members of the offensive line. I mean, you still got some talent on offense. You still got Mahomes, but what you gonna do on defense? All right, you know, you still got some talented guys on defense, but I mean, when you know guys start to ask for big contracts, you start to lose some of those core players. And then you know, you also got the Denver Broncos who dealing with their quarterback situation. You know, you got whispers about Aaron Rodgers, but as of right now, you got Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. Got a good defense. Vic Fangio does a really good job defensively, but they're not an offensive juggernaut. Are they going to be able to keep up with the Chiefs? Are they going to be able to keep up with the Chargers? Who knows, right? Read a few more, and then we're going to get up out of here. Drew says, I remember playing the Pittsburgh Steelers twice a year. The Super Bowl champions would catch the business in the division. Yeah, those was always hard-hitting games, and usually always came down to those two teams to see who made it to the Super Bowl. I think teams should be nervous right now at this point with Winston. The Saints have the ability to go deep with the ball. Now, if he lays an egg, oh boy. Well, look, if he lays an egg right now, no harm, no foul. It's a one-year contract. You know, if the Saints, if it don't pan out with the Saints just cut their losses and, you know, maybe try to get themselves a franchise quarterback in next year's draft. But if he goes out there and he performs well, then who knows? TJ, love the show though, man. I think we got a shot at the Super Bowl if the Braves go our way. Defense, man. I agree, Chris. I agree. I don't think that the New Orleans Saints are just that god awful that, to a point where they just can't be there in the end. I think with coaching alongside a lot of these offensive players, a lot of some of these defensive veterans, along with these younger guys, together collectively, they can be successful. And it's easy to look on the outside looking in and look at this team and just say, oh, Drew Brees. But once again, that goes back to the national media. A lot of them fans that come here and try to harass Saints fans get their information from the national media. They're not coming on shows like this where we eat, sleep, breathe Saints football. They're not looking at Nick Underhill's show, Big Q's show, or Deuce Wenham's show, Ross's show. They're not looking at those type of shows. They're not looking at Aaron's show. They're not looking at CBN Pretty Carly's show. They're not looking at any of those shows. They're looking at shows that feed the narrative that the Saints are terrible and the Saints are nothing without Drew. So what do? They come back and they tell us, oh, y'all nothing without Drew. But we've been watching. We've been seeing what the Saints have been doing. We've been seeing what the Saints have been doing without Drew. We've been seeing them put the pieces in place and trying to prepare their team for life outside of Drew Brees. Keep in mind, Drew Brees was supposed to retire in 2016. That was the first time he ever said that to Sean Payton. So you know what Sean said? Probably said to Drew, look, okay, how long do you think you're going to play? I'm not sure. I'm going to do a year by year. So by Drew saying, okay, we're going to take a year by year, what did Sean do? Sean started to prepare the team, bringing in guys that have leadership qualities because he understood that Drew Brees isn't going to be around here to be the unsung leader, when he retires. So he started to build this team. He started to get, a guy that understands personnel. He changed up the scout team. He changed up the coaching staff. He got all these different guys in here with different philosophy and different terminologies because he understood that life was going to change when Drew retires. And we understand that because we watch a lot of Saints football. But for those that don't really watch Saints football and they get their information from Fox Sports and ESPN and Mad Dog Sports Radio and all them other serious shows, they don't understand what we know. But I can't knock them for that. So let them talk. But as for me, I feel like this team is still legitimate. I feel like this team still has what it takes to be a Super Bowl contender, a playoff team. And until they prove otherwise, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. This show is brought to you by manscaped.com. Go to manscaped.com for all of your male grooming needs. Use the promo code State of Saints. That's all one word, all lowercase letters, State of Saints, and you will save 20% off of all Manscaped items. You all take care. Before you get up out of here, go ahead and hit that like button. Tell everybody you enjoyed the show. And like always, all I got to say is, who dat?